Let's welcome our host Sir Alberto Abira aka Tata Bird.
We got this, don't know how. I see danger in us. They know we'll protect.
Walang screen.
Come in just like the sun.
Go ahead, Pang. Go ahead. Right.
You know that we gonna light it up tonight. We gonna light it up tonight. We gonna light it up.
Oh, good evening, good morning, wherever you are. Say hello to everybody. Here we are again, doing our civic duty as a citizen and dispersing the good news, the community events, whatever we have, disseminate any information that we could gather, and whatever we suggestion and elimination in any activities of our community, and as well as for an individual, will be much appreciated if we could share each other. I would like to share to you this evening my experience being young as that, 86 years old, but I think I one of this blessed person that to be enjoying and fulfilling the will of God that my time has to go on in order to complete my mission here on earth. Who knows how long, but we all gave this decision to God because we are just a creature, and creature has to depend on the Creator. So thank you. That this the best thing you could do is thanking God that of your current situation and existence in this world. So I would like to mention to you that people have been amused, if not praise or likes, but I'm sure because of my stammering and incoherence, but nonetheless, you have the patience and courtesy to listen and watch me at the same time. Maybe you could laugh. Why not? It is a part of the game. It is a part of the show. Because in any talk show like this, without reaction and action or comments either, that means nobody is listening to you, nobody is watching. But I have a good responses. Somebody likes it. Somebody will say they learn something. Somebody my spoken words are wise. Yeah, I admit I am not wise, but I have advanced the knowledge that garnered, which most of you young guys has to learn more, experience what I have. Maybe, but experiences are suitable to an individual. Just because what you are, I would like to be what you are. You are an individual. So, let's get it. I think the very first thing to say of your best health is thanking God. Because everything, if God is with you, everything follows. There are those people that they could only remember when they are in the and difficulties or calamities. I think we are asking God that we are forgetting you, so make us aware of your wants for us. So it happened. It's happening once in a while. In fact, it's not a calamity anymore. It's a scheduled every year. There will be fire, there will be flood. It's a common occurrences, but God has given us enough talents and body that we have prepared if we want to. Like for example, this warming, global warming. This is not today. This has been us. This has been alarmed. This has been we warned by this will be happening. So we did it now because we ignore it. We didn't cooperate. Like deforestation, the illegal loggings. That's not new. They have been asked all the time, but the authority would have to make action because the cause of flooding is illegal logging, one cause of it. But why we have to wait? So God has to do it. This is just not to punish us, to remind us that we have to take care what is given to us for your like your child. If you because you love him, you love them, you give him everything what you think is good for him, and whatever he asks, you give only what is proper for them, and you are happy to look at them when they are enjoying and they are appreciative of everything that we share from the Creator. So we could always go back to this. All things, all creatures, great or small, are
As you
created
give
for
only
the purpose. Is there any comment? Okay, we're flashing some listeners, avid listeners, maybe this is the family Chubbs and Amoyong TV and Lot James. Hello, Tata Bert. Thank you. So this is it. Why we have to be reminded when in fact the effect of this, we know it very well from the very beginning. The global warming. That's not the first time we hear. We heard that 40 years ago or 50 years ago. But who is answering to this? Answer to get remedy of this global warming. One good example of disastrous event, the atomic testing. And of course, we all know that war games bombing the Pacific Oceans where the lives of our food are coming. But we don't care. We would like to see how powerful we are, how to destroy the earth. But there anybody complain that because of war games, because of atomic testing, still we like to go on to destroy our Mother Earth. What can we do? So like me, just crying. We need answer. We need solution. We need to stop these things. So crying alone will not help. We need cooperation from everybody. The community has to speak up. You have to write your politicians, your government, because government is business. All they have to do is make money because government are run by the rich people. But this could be shared amicably and knowledgeable to everybody that this is for everyone, that we have to work together, living harmoniously, and we will gain back the trust of God and us to let us live peacefully now and then. And so let's wake up. I would like to acknowledge our listener here, the Angela Tanse, L.H. Grant, Transer, and Erica Barroso, Gina Salto, TC 143, and Jello, Family Chubs. Okay, there are some more flashing, but Erica Barroso, thank you for bearing, and I hope you'll not get irritated what I said. Just laugh and enjoy this show. How by stammering and my incoherence. So once in a while, I would like you listeners to share your views because listen, listening alone without the reaction, it is boring. But with your participation, we could share each other what is has to be said and what not to said. And who knows, we will get reaction and maybe could make a good contribution to our community. Excuse me, my throat is drying as I have this ramen coke. But, maybe this will cleanse my thirst. The evidence of misunderstanding is computations because society composed of positive and negative. So, because without negative, how could you call that is positive? Let us see how we say something wrong here. If you tell me this is wrong, I will accept it. But you cannot tell me what is wrong if you will not say what should be right. So that we will develop intelligent exchange of ideas, and the beneficiary will be our community. Because if criticism is a wholesome criticism is needed, because if I'll be talking and talking and no response at all, what is it? That means I'm talking to the stone, to the walls, but I know you are all alive. Jello, Angelo, Tanser, Erica, Malo, please answer me back. The Canadian Pinoy, he is always at the back there and ready and willing to pitch in anytime I could break on my throat. And of course, they know because they are a good talker also. So, but talking sometimes could give a good sense. Because exchange idea, that's the main object here. Exchange ideas, give and take. Because how? Let us see. Yeah, you have told me that. How would you know you are wrong if nobody would tell you? Just like being a writer, the first critic of your article is you. But still, like for example, the literary critics, they are good to suggest anything is what is to be done and what. But believe me, when I was in UST, our critics, okay, something being changed here. Hmm. Okay, that means give me a breather. I could drink my uh, thirst cleansing liquid. Okay, so maybe that's too much about sweet nothing about nothing. Now let's go back to the real McCoy in the community, which is our community. Whether you like it or not, we need when being Filipinos are being recognized automatically you belong to farmers because we, the very first association was farmers. All the rest are just splinters, the provincial and regional association. But there's nothing wrong with that because that means there is specialization. And farmers now is actively participating to the needs of the civic and the occurrences in the Philippines. The flood victims, they are responding and so on with other organizations. Some other people are questioning why there is already farmers fundraising, why there's another organization related with separate not only one or two as of now making their own separate fundraising. Why cannot we just get together? Or or maybe you could still go on with your own fundraising in the private uh, association wisely, regional wisely. You could raise a fund because everybody, we need every cover to raise a single centavo has to put together to make a bigger impact when it reaches to the hands of the needy in the Philippines. So, but maybe I have to wait until the end of this. Will there be, to summarize, if this fundraising together? We don't know yet. Here's a good one. Wala pong mali, Tata Bert. Nakinig po kami ng mga apo mo sa Montreal kasama si Lot James. Okay, thank you. I can, according to you, wala akong mali. You are human being. You are not perfect. So, but we have to deal with it, perfect or not, but somebody has to do it. We, I've been trying to ask your participation. Don't just rely on what I said. The contribution is essential to the progress of every endeavor of our community. Thank you for reminding, and we will be working together once in a while. The door is always open. It's just a phone call, and you could transmit your message, and you yourself will be explaining or making encouragement to our community that our kababayan is now in dire need. Our support. You have seen the TV news that is really deplorable situation. We need to help them. The government, I'm sure, is doing their best, but the government alone has to be supported with the people in order to make a cohesive, hand in hand, to solve and to adhere to the needs of this devastated places. Okay. Now, I have seen that the government is deploring the soldiers, which is really admirable because soldiers, what for? There's no war. So I think this should be doing service even there is no war because soldiers is not just for war. It is for peacekeeping. Now it is the need of the people. And thank God that you, the government, had made a good response. And so do we. So we see everybody is fixing, contributing, and let's not criticize anymore. Instead of criticizing, why don't we just pour anything what we have and share? Community could only survive with one another support. Okay? Anong balita sa community? So, the balita sa community is that, okay? Our associations have a good response doing their action now all over, not only Montreal, Toronto, and all over the world. There is a good response of helping the Bayanihan spirit that we maintain wherever we are. We are still Filipinos. Filipinos are very enterprising. They don't just wait for handful, but they are very enterprising. But a situation like that, when you are underwater and all over the mud, what could you do? But they don't cry. They are still smiling when the TV is around because they are they know that God and you people and everybody will be watching them and willing to share what we have there. Okay, ano ang mga ginagawa ninyong bayanihan dito sa Montreal? If you are a member of the community, come out and see what your kababayan are doing, especially the organization. Every organization, if not actively doing it, they are watching and participating and doling out. They also pick up their wallets and dole what they could afford and what they could share. Because we Filipinos are used to have nothing. So nothing could be lost because but sympathy as always runs in our blood. We care. We don't have to wait somebody has to be in deep disaster situation before we extend help. Okay, here's a break. Okay, here's a flash. Usapan, FAMAS, kailan ba? Ang FAMAS is one association, the origin and the very Filipino organization in Montreal that really caters to the community where before other organizations spring out. FAMAS is doing good to the community. They have, okay, though established in 1963, but up to 1970s, FAMAS at that time was very easy because Philippine at that time was very well off and only very few people actually coming here. Like for example, some old timers like the nurses and the teachers. They come here not as an immigrant, they come here for curiosity and some, of course, for venture for financial. But like myself, I come here for curiosity because I was a U.S. immigrant. But I was thinking that maybe a year or two is good enough for me to see what is Canada, because for the first time, but not all Filipinos who came here enjoy the beauty of the nature of Niagara Falls, sleeping in the tubugan, uh, have a ice fishing. As Canadian, you should experience what is an ice fishing. It's really enjoyable. Not only because you want some fish, because like example, go fishing in Gaspi at that time, in early 70s, almost every weekend. Only few of us are always have a rendezvous in Gaspi, where, of course, for experience, because most of us, even we Filipinos, not everybody experience the beauty of the ocean. Some of them even doesn't know how to swim. When in fact, we are an islanders. But here, when you are here, you have to do it. And you have to experience what is a good life of the nature. So much so, your question is how, specifically, because we cannot touch the inner boss of the heart of farmers' activities. Because that is internal problem and internal duty for every organization. We cannot dictate what should you have to be doing, but we could always comment and ask, as member of this organization, you have the right to know what's going on, what is needed, how could you help. That is how to live together in harmony in the society. You cannot just watch, oh, you're doing wrong. Ay dapat ay ganito ginawa ninyo. Why ninyo? Why can you not forward? Maybe I could say something, let's do it this way. Dapat ang gagawin natin ay ganito. That's the word. You cannot just say, dapat ito ginawa ninyo. Who are you to tell them what to do? Come forward, okay. If there is a need of suggestion, come forward and tell them, let's go work together. And that would be the harmonious way of living in a society of our community. Here, it comes to the third largest ethnic group here in Montreal, or even in whole Canada. We are the fast growing members of our community. For now, we are reaching 1 million sooner, and we have to do to be noticed. We have to show ourselves. We have to show our fun. We have to see that we could buy. We have to show that we could contribute. We have to show that we are part of this society. Ano ba ang magawa ng FAMAS? FAMAS is you. If you ask FAMAS, it is the thinking of what you have, because all you have to do, you are being member of the community. You don't have to wait. You don't have to watch what FAMAS is doing. You have to come forward. Let's do it this way. Because you cannot just be blaming farmers. Why? They are just volunteers like you. So when you are volunteers, you have also your livelihood to look after. Okay. You one day you pass by, oh, the driveway of farmers, the snow was not plowed, the snow was clean. Of course, that is their obligation, but you are also part of farmers. Why can you Why don't you come forward? There are times that financially farmers will be short because of the banking situation. We must be there to extend hand, uh, or maybe you could ask them or ask, is there anything you could do? Well, you cannot just be going to Tim Horton and howling yourself that ang farmers wala namang ginagawa sa akin. Farmers could only share what has to be done for the community. The obligation is everybody's task. So be wise enough to answer the question. Nice conversation, Serpent. William Passion. Belmont Kapanaya, more power, Serpent. Why? It's me. I'm just a spokesperson. Because community is you. I doubt even if I could motivate you, but try to respond. The calling is for everybody. This show is not me. I am just a material person to get you excited and respond to the needs of our community. Please understand that anybody could speak for it, but everybody also has to do it. You cannot just be a bystander. Canada is very generous to us. Anything we have is generously handled to us so long as we do our part. Like, but you cannot always compare one person to another because you are an individual. Individual is a distinct person. You are not a robot just because you are programmed to this, you do it blindly. That's why God has given you the power to accept or not to accept the laws that's given to you. If you don't, of course, God knows what to do for you. These calamities happenings in the world because people are forgetting what they are how to do. Okay, I could go back to the global warming. This is not new. We know it very well at the very start. Bakit ba nag-aaway sa pamas lalo na pag-eleksyon? Are you we are Filipinos, and those candidates, their only objective is to serve. They want to serve the community because they are afraid if they are not the one running farmers, they're afraid farmers might collapse, farmers might close. So you could think of something else, but that's what I am. I comprehend their desire to be on farmers all the time. Yeah, I sympathize them. I hats of them because for me, I served once, and on my term, I started the community center. I started the very fundraising to start the building fund. When and funds follows and everything after 5 years, we have the center. Imagine at that time, the community center started by Mrs. Norma Villarosa for them after her term of in excess of $500. So the incoming administration, we see to it all excess fund after the term has to be deposited for the building fund. And that's how we managed to buy the center. And the biggest fundraising that we have is, and during on my term, when we started the Munting Binibini contest. Where is on my term, I made a turnover almost 65,000 and to add to our community building fund. It really hurts and lamentable that in the recent years in the early 90s up to the present, no build fund was added. Even the membership fee is nowhere to find. But I cannot dig on that. I don't know. I cannot pinpoint why. So it's up to the community. Those officers that may be mishandling it, take it easy because nobody is asking why, where. So will you blame them? Nobody's asking. That means you don't care at all. So somebody has to take advantage of it. Or do they? We don't know. So please, our community needed cooperation. Don't look what the other people didn't do. Don't look the mistakes of others and pass on to the new officers who are aspiring to serve also. Let's go back to work, more work, and share. Bakit ba gusto lahat maging presidente? Which is very good because it is lamentable when an organization does nobody would like to head it. Farmers is very good that they just everybody wants to be president. But you know, having a title has responsibility. Just like a button, if you have bigger button, you have a bigger hole. So please don't let other people run after you before answering that question. Because time and again, we are meeting each other and do they have to ask why? Just do your job good. Maybe you could not be perfect. You could not get what they want you to do, but you yourself have the conscience. You could always answer, I have done the best I can. Okay, here is a question. Who was the first president of FAMAS? First president of FAMAS in 1963 is Dr. Sison. At the time, up to 1970, FAMAS organization was very easy, and all they have to do is just deform an association just to celebrate only two times a year. They celebrate only independence and Christmas party. And that's all. Because they don't have anything to support. They don't have any building fund to support. And the community is very easy and everybody is well off. There were no caregivers, there were no seafarers, but they themselves mostly are doctors and nurses and teachers and engineers. So they call them professionals. Well, the term may be to have to be defined because professionals is a big name. because it doesn't have to be a high degree profession to be called professional. Any honest earned job is a profession. And you, if you are doing it right, you are professional. So that's how it is. So, but when 1970s, so the start of, I think when I arrived here in 1970, the president was Mrs. Lita Sidico. So, but there was no community center yet. Uh, we have a good celebration, special independence. The least that we could do in our Independence Ball is Satu Samplain or Plus Bonaventure, and name in a first class hotelier. We are there because we don't have any building to support. So until Mrs. Villarosa came, that she started a building fund of $500 on her term, and so on and so forth until we raise this a proper amount. But the biggest contribution that was made was under my term in 1986 when I was a president, and I made a turnover of almost 65,000. At that time, the salary was just because actually my most contributor there, most supporter are the caregivers and the seafarers. They don't give big amount, but $1 to $5 is a big amount already if accumulates. Okay. Ano pa pala balita sa FAMAS building ngayon? Well, everybody is saying that FAMAS building is still there. Of course, there is a need of repairs, painting, and of course, not only repair and painting. We have to we have to make it modern, we have to improve, we have to add, we have to make it bigger. Because how many associations we have here in Montreal? What if everybody would like to use the building? So we have to schedule. Farmers officers has to schedule first come, first serve, and you have to make a deposit. Of course, there's a little bit role that you have to make it clean properly before and after using it. That's the duty of FABAS officers. But we community members has to support because if FAMAS are too busy doing anything else and forgetting their duties, we have to remind them. We cannot just suspend them because they are just volunteer people. So please support the community because that is our identity. You cannot say I'm from West Island because when you are in the Philippines, people would ask you, from where are you? You will not say you are from West Island. You are from South Shore. You are from Montreal. Get it? So, we are one Filipino. Let's work together. Let's help one another. Now it's time to show our bayanihan spirit. Let's look back to our country people. Countrymen, you don't have to go farther. Open your TV. Open your TFC. From morning till evening, you are bombarded the, the situation and the development of how our kababayan endure self-respect despite of these calamities that they encounter. Okay, my throat is getting dry. I have to sip this ram vodka. Hello, kapatid Eric. Hmm. My grandchildren who are in Caloocan, and especially Pangarap, my grandchildren in Iloilo, Antique, my grandchildren in Guam, my nephews and grandchildren in New Jersey. They are all clapping now. I could see on my cell phone, but they supported me and they are laughing of my stammering delivery, but they get the message. It's not the beauty extemporaneously, but they get the message word by word that be God fearing will make you comfortable and happy innermost life because you are thanking God for every breath of air you have. Today and tomorrow, you'll be thanking again. It's another duty day to serve our Creator. You don't have to be living in a luxury because luxury will be tempted for anything else that's not worldly or mostly worldly. So that is the beauty in satisfaction. Happiness is what you have to maintain because grievances and criticism. But we Filipinos, we hindi have bickering and gossip. It's not really hard. It's not really pinch-hitting event and because they're just for recreation or repassing. Or is it? But that could hurt a friend or a neighbor. But smile will always make you respond to smile or maybe frown or whatever. But it will always have a good response favorably. So be thankful all the time. Avoid worries because worries is the basic of mental anguish and sorrow. Mental anguish will depreciate your health and eventually, who knows. But whatever it is, you have to be thankful that today I wake up again alive and ready to serve to the best, the capacity that you are given to for the service of everything. Okay, how many minutes do I still have? Oh wow, I still have 12 minutes. Or anything else you'd like to know? Okay, I would like to. Person, I would like to get the quotation. Everything is in purpose. All things, great or small, you are created for a purpose. And what Longfellow said, there is always time in everything in your life. You alibis and excuses, you know very well when you do that, utter such a word. But it is very comforting when you fulfill your duties diligently and honestly. If you are sick today, that means God is reminding you that He exists and you are forgetting Him. I know I have friends also who are sick accidentally, but there are those who are sick. They know very well that they are guilty of what their shortcomings, especially deceiving your fellow people. You on deceives your friends, your fellow kababayan. You could run away from him, but you cannot run away from yourself because your conscience will be the one bothering you. That why I have to take advantage for a kind-hearted friend. So let's be careful. Let's if you are sick today, you have to know that you are just being reminded to be good and to respond and act your responsibility to who's, who gives you your their blessings for you when you are in needs. So that's how I uh, measure my contentment in life because you can say you I took too much. Why? What have you? It's not what I have. It's what I have accepted on myself because there are people that are lonely and miserable because they cannot accept who they are. So when you accept who you are and you have done, you could claim to yourself that you have done your best. You could be as peaceful and have a sweet dream nightly. And believe me, you will be having a good health. Because I know some people, they are only in early 50s or 60s. They are already miserable. Well, maybe it happened, but there are those, they are suffering mentally. See, I think they are given a wake-up call. Renew your life and be ready to serve. Share. That is the most comforting you could feel when you dole share what you have because you cannot give what you have. So give what you have. Share. You don't have to be miserable on yourself because you don't have to give the whole life what you have. What about yourself? Of course, taking care of yourself is loving God because if you could take care of yourself, you could share and you could also take care of others. That's how it is. Symbiosis, living together. Okay, how many minutes I have left? Okay, I'll say that. Okay, what about anything, any subject you would like to know, Jonathan? Okay, here it is. I would like to go deeper in philosophy because does God create something determine when and where to be ended? Or does God, uh, okay, make it simple. Does a person, does a person is predestined? Or that's okay, gaya ng ano sabi ng mga hula na yayaman ka or uh, you will live longer, you'll be healthy, tatama ka sa sweepstick or so it's not. The predestination is still oneself's decision. God, of course, know the present, the past, and the future. He knows, of course. But God has given us all the chances to make our own decision. We have to make our own destiny. Because God created us an individual, not a robot. If predestines everything, that is, everything is being controlled by God. No, because God's love gave us an opportunity how we could run our own life. That's how it is. Because if you say, oh, God's will, it's God's will. No, you have to help yourself in order to be saved. Okay, am I done? But okay. So, before anything else, don't forget to like my show, share, and my Tubo channel, Alberto Aviera, and you get everything. Okay, I will promise you, you could have a good laugh. You could criticize me. You could despise me. I will thank you. That means I have a good response. So, share, like it, get to your friends. So everyone is watching live streaming on YouTube. Thank God you have the initiative to have and share and laugh with me at the same time. And let make a little contribution to the needy of the community, to of our families in the Philippines who are really hard hit by this flood. Because so as what I saying, this should be not only when there is a calamity happen. I would suggest every association has to create a committee for flood victims or calamity funds before anything else. Well, okay, all let's see, raise on your disco or your inauguration, your victory party or independence party or whatever. Let's make a portion that this goes to our calamity fund. I'm sure you everybody has to make ready because this is not an occurrence. It is being scheduled every year. So we must be prepared already. Let's make us one of the duties every year. Oh, well, thank God if there will be none because we will accumulate more and more every year if there will be no. I think God will only prove that we are also concerned and love our countrymen. We have to be generous. The subjects of noon at ngayon is is open because you cannot stick noon at ngayon because it is come what may topics. So I could say redundantly or incoherently. Okay, here's the sign. Maraming salamat. I'm inviting my friends or whoever watching this video to like and dislike. So long as you have comments, I will appreciate that because how could I improve? What is to be improved if you don't say anything? So this your support will be most appreciated and welcome. Bye for now. Magandang gabi. Goodbye. Aloha. Sayonara. Adios.